What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Terzuola Knives ATCF Lite. Now, this little EDC fella was sent to me by Bryan over at Blue Creek Knives. So shout out to you, Bryan. Thank you so much for sending this out to me. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's a, it's a tactical folder, but it's really EDC friendly. And I think it's a cool knife, and I really enjoyed having it. I think it's a a unique piece. But yeah, so without further ado, I just lost my train of thought. We're gonna jump into materials. So this is rocking blue G10 with a DLC black coated blade. The blade is in Nitro V right here. Has a fuller built in, has a flipper tab, and can also be front flipped, which is really cool. It took me a little bit to get used to it and to kind of learn, how to do it like that. But once you get it down, it works, decently well. You have a loop over style deep carry Terzuola pot clip right there. I could go without the Terzuola name on there. I love when pot clips are just sterile, don't have anything on them. You could have easily put, Terzuola like on the blade or something like that, and I think that would have been more acceptable. And not as bothersome to me. The pot clip is really tight, but it works very well. It goes to the butt end of the knife, so it carries very deep, and it is also lefty and righty sided pot clip, so you can carry it if you are a lefty. You have a hidden lanyard post back here, a blue G10 backspacer, steel liners that there is no internal milling, but this is a pretty small knife, so I don't really think it needs it. It is a liner lock. It's on bearings. Yeah, there are quite a few variants of this knife, but the only ones that Bryan have in right now are is this version, the black and the blue, and then he also has the black with a stone wash blade and all stone washed hardware. Excuse me. I think that's all for materials. Besides, the blade grind is a flat grind, comes down to a pretty thin edge. The blade stock is kind of right in the medium. Can't talk today, guys. Right in the middle. I can't talk. I'm sorry. Comes down to a thin edge. You're jumping up here, jumping down there. Yeah, I think that's all for materials. So we're going to jump into action. The flipper tab is based like a triangle. Of course, you do have more space over here than here. And there's jimping on the flipper tab. So you get a good, it's not the most aggressive jimping in the world, but it's definitely, better than some other ones I've handled. But you get a good grip on here. Flyers. What's with me in saying different words than I should be saying? It flies right open. You can do the push button, or you can do a kind of, light switch where you drag it. Either way work very, very well. You can middle finger flick it with the fuller. Works very, very well. You can thumb flick it. Flipper tab. And then for the front flipper, it kind of, I wish there was a little bit more that came up here off of the tab of this knife with some more jimping to get a little bit better leverage. But if you do that, it'll pop right out. Took me a while to get used to it. You kind of just have to find like the pressure point, and once you do that, it's pretty reliable. And it just definitely adds another fidget factor to this knife, because you have the flipper tab, you have the fuller, and then you have the front flipper, so you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 technically, because you can flip it, you can thumb flick it, you can slow roll it, you can middle finger flick it, and then you can front flip it. So it's very fidget friendly, which is really cool if you're looking for something like that. I think that's definitely a sort of added bonus to this knife, because again, this is supposed to be a tactical folder, but in a more EDC friendly package, which I think is exactly what this knife is. So yeah, action is good. It's not like drop shutty. You definitely have to, drops to your nail. The flipper tab will hit your nail, and then you just kind of shake it, home, or you can drop it and shake it once. Sometimes it does bounce back up, but most of the time you drop it and it closes right away. So yeah, I think it's very, very good in the action department. Has bearings. Now there is a smidgen of blade play. I've had to tighten this up once or twice. I just haven't taken it apart and cleaned it and then added Loctite to it. But it's not enough to really be bothersome to me. It's just something I wanted to point out. Yeah, I think I hit everything on the action department. So next up is ergos. Now this is a very small knife, a very thin knife, but I can still get all 4 fingers on here if I don't choke up. I'm definitely kind of hanging on for dear life back here with my pinky, but I've definitely felt worse things in the world. You have jimping up here, kind of a little mini like thumb ramp, and then down here, the jimping keeps you in place. You have a nice natural restriction point, and then the rest of your fingers just kind of follow suit. But for me, the best way to hold this is you use this kind of a flipper choil up here. Hold that, and then the fingers follow suit to where your middle finger goes into the groove right here. And you can get a really good purchase for push cuts. For, if you're doing some precise cuts, this one would be the best to cut out like shipping labels, because you have a drop point style blade where you have to like go the whole way up like that. But it's, again, it's a tactical style knife because you have a very, even if this wasn't branded Terzuola, I'm sure you guys could figure out by now that it is a, Bob Terzuola design. It kind of gives me vibes of a Les George blade too, kind of how it has a little bit of a ramp up here. Very similar in my opinion. But yeah, ergos choke back are okay. The pot clip is not very proud of the knife, so that's not going to cause a hot spot or anything like that. Nothing too severe. But choke back, they're not bad. Definitely hanging on for dear life back here. But using that flipper choil, it's very, very comfortable. Again, it's very thin. I had definitely, my thumb has gone raw before, fidgeting with this knife. I wish there was a little bit more of a cutout here for the liner lock. A little bit more access would be really, really nice. But you just get used to kind of shoving your thumb in there, dropping it to your nail, and then shaking it closed. To me, that's just the best way to fidget with it on the closing action. But yeah, I was talking about ergos, wasn't I? Ergos are good. Next up is carry. This is a very small knife. Let's see if it says what it weighs. The blade is right around 3 inches. It doesn't say on the website what it weighs, but if I had to guess, it wouldn't be much at all. And that's definitely apparent in the carry department. Drop it in your pocket. You do have a flipper tab down here if you're reaching down here to grab, coins, change, money, chapstick, anything like that. You do have to be wary of that, but it's not a very aggressive, jimping setup on here, so it's not like it's going to rip your hand or you're going to rip the knife up out of your pocket. Something I just like to point out to you guys. You guys know it's kind of a, an every time I review thing that I do. But you can kind of see the proud liners here, but there is no sharp edges or anything like that. It rides very well in your pocket. I have carried this in gym shorts quite a bit, just, lounging around the house, going on walks with my dog, just being outside doing stuff. I've just tossed it in my pocket of my shorts, gym shorts and of sweatpants. And, how lightweight it is and how small it is make it a really nice carry to just kind of throw in there. And not have to worry about, throwing a pot clip or clipping it to a kind of a thicker pocket of a sweatpant or short. Yeah, it is lefty carry, so you can carry it if you are a left-handed person, which is nice. I'm glad they thought of that. It's kind of, goes in from the top here, which is cool. I think that's all for carry. There's really not much to talk about other than like it's, it's good. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing I always do with my reviews. Like most of the time, 90% of the knives that I review on my channel are all, good carries. So I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I want to be honest with you. I want to be, want to give you guys my personal thoughts on it. And, most of the time those are my thoughts. So, carry is very, very good. So my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. According to Blue Creek Knives, this goes for $89.99. With my code 814EDC, you can take 10% off of that. So that would be what, $8.99. So $80. I think that's a good deal. It's kind of a standard budget price nowadays for these materials. You're getting blue G10, a loop over style deep carry clip that is reversible, bearings, Nitro V blade steel, which is, in my opinion, in all the experiences I've had, a very good blade steel for this price range. You know, a nice thin edge, kind of definitely a tactical looking knife, but turned into an EDC friendly size with the ergos, the carryability, and the overall, you know, weight and everything like that being very friendly towards being an EDC style knife. You have a really good action with the flipper, thumb flick, slow roll, middle finger flick, and front flipper. So it's a very, you know, kind of a fidget king in that, you know, that regards. Anytime someone, you know, a knife has over 4 or 5 methods of deployment, I think that's kind of considered as a fidget king, just because they have a lot of different ways to deploy the knife. So you're getting Nitro V, you're getting Blue G10 that has a nice texture to it. It's not too coarse, not too soft. Loop bar style deep carry clip. You know, the knowledge and the knowing that you're carrying a Terzuola design. Bob is known as kind of the, you know, the grandfather or the godfather of the tactical knives. You have his logo right there. You have his name right there, just in case you forget who designed it. So I think it's worth that. I think even at $89.99, you know, full priced, I think that is, you know, a very fair price for it. I think these are made by Wee and Civivi, that factory over there. It just, to me, it feels like a Civivi style knife. It looks like a Civivi style knife. So if I had to guess, that's who, you know, produces them, is the OEM for them. And like I said, there's a ton of different variants of it. You can get green, tan, I think red, black, I think maybe purple. But Bryan has the 2 in stock on the website. Yeah, cool knife, guys. I don't really think there's anything else to say. I think it's a, you know, kind of like a gentleman carry almost. You know, if you're looking for a tactical style design, but very thin, very easy to carry, with solid materials. I think that you know, there's worse knives in the world when you're considering a gentleman type of carry knife. You know, just due to how lightweight it is, how thin it is. You know, you have the ability to sit there and fidget with it if you need to fidget with it due to, you know, the flipper, the fuller, and the front flipper. So I think it's worth it for the price. I was actually, excuse me, I was pretty excited when I saw someone on my Instagram get one of these, and I kind of had my eye out for them, you know, since then. And then when I saw Bryan had one in his personal carry, I think I commented like, oh, like I really need to check out one of those ATCF Lites. And he commented back like, all right, I'll get one sent out to you. And that wasn't what I meant, but I'm super happy it did. So again, Bryan, if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much for sending this to me. I really do appreciate it. It was very, you know, thoughtful, and you know, it really, I still am so grateful when people send me knives. And you know, I'm affiliated with Bryan over at Blue Creek, and he's just a fantastic guy, fantastic company, really. So I'm happy to have partnered with him and to be considered a buddy, a friend of his. So yeah, leave a comment down below. You know, have you guys picked one of these up? If you have, what are your thoughts on them? To me, it's designed after, I know it's the ATCF, but I didn't really know what that knife was until the Terzuola and Protect came together to his Terzuola designed it, but he collaborated with, I can't talk today, collaborated, that's the word I'm looking for, collaborated with Protect to make the ATCF automatic, which I think came out like end of last year, right around Blade Show, and it got a lot of reviews, a lot of positive reviews, won some awards and stuff like that. So that was how I was familiar with this style of knife, and that's how I knew what it was, because I wasn't familiar with it before Protect came out with it. But I'm glad they decided to go with a more, you know, smaller, a little more lightweight, a little more budget-friendly options, EDC style knife, and I think it's a good knife, and I'm definitely interested to see what else Bob has planned for this sort of range of price and materials and stuff like that. So again, this will be linked down below to Blue Creek Knives. If you're interested in purchasing this or any other knife you find on Blue Creek Knives website, please use code 814EDC for 10% off of your purchase at checkout. Helps me, helps you, and helps Bryan. It's a win-win-win, as I like to say. So yeah, I'm gonna quit rambling and ranting and raving and having you guys listen to me do all that, because I'm sure you get annoyed with it sometimes, but I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Your support is just very, very humbling and very, very enjoyable to me. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.